Where should we start in the NFC West?
I think the LA Rams, just because I think they're like
Okay.
probably the least notable of
Okay.
any of them.
Sure.
So
So they traded away their first round draft pick,
yeah,
and they drafted a running back and a wide receiver in the second round.
yeah. So the running back is a big old question mark for you and me, where it's like, why you do that in the second round? You can do that later. And
this like isn't even one of the better running back. Like he's up there, but it wasn't like an elite running back in the second round. It was like,
I really like Van Jefferson, the wide receiver they took. I started watching tape like yesterday on him, and it's like he's just one of those dudes who just like gets open. He's like a really shifty route runner, good with head fakes and stuff. I like him very much. I don't think my big takeaway from this is that it does not move the needle on this team at all. Like this draft class did not change my opinion on how they will do this year. If anything, in comparison to the rest of the NFC West drafts, it like maybe hampered their progress. You know?
I like Terrell Lewis value in the third round, edge rusher out of Alabama.
Is he an edge rusher?
Yeah.
I don't know that I do like him. I think he's like one of those people who's like made in a lab for you to like, and then just like give up on 3 years from now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like my position on this is that I would rather the Rams have like drafted Jeff Gladney or CJ Henderson.
Right.
I guess CJ Henderson then trade for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. But you and I have talked about this. They were going all in, you know? They thought they had that. They thought they had it. They put the chips in. I respect it. They missed. Fair enough.
Yeah. And so I would say this is like not an atrocious draft, but like a bad one compared to the other ones. So
my big thing with them is like because they have pushed in their chips, a little bit of me feels like maybe they should still be drafting a little bit based off need, and they should have gone O-line. Their O-line was pretty rough last year.
Well, they got Tremaine Entrum in the 7th round, so
it'll be fine. I definitely while I was Googling their draft class, I stumbled upon this article that was from like the SB Nation blog for the Rams. And it was like this article that was written in like late March, and it was like why the Rams shouldn't go O-line. And their whole reason was like the Rams believed in this O-line last year. Why wouldn't they believe in them this year? And then they were like, I mean, Andrew Whitworth won't be bad. And it's like, he's like 38 at this point. He is going to suddenly be bad.
Yeah.
And then they just kept being like, I mean, it can't get worse. And look at the season they had last year. They missed the playoffs. That's not a good argument.
We're about due for a win. So
yeah. It was really just like, well, we only barely missed the playoffs, so why tamper with anything, you know? Maybe next year the ball bounces right twice, and it's like you guys weren't going to make it to the Super Bowl with that team.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
It was a tough look.
The Rams have had a disappointing, I don't want to say collapse, but mini collapse.
Yeah, it like wouldn't. I don't even think it would normally really look like a collapse, but with like the Niners storming out of nowhere the way they have.
Yeah, which, by the way, let's talk about their draft for a sec.
Yeah, there's his job.
So a dense, 2 first-round picks and then a 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Mm-hmm.
They got the guys they wanted. They made it to the Super Bowl, so they're not looking for that much more here.
Right.
Javon Kinlaw replaces DeForest Buckner for that 1-for-1 that trade. John Lynch is able to trick a team into trading back a pick, up a pick, so he can trade back a pick. I wasn't wild about Brandon Ayuk as a player in general, but I think this is like a perfect fit for him, so I get why they picked him.
Yeah,
because he's a guy who's like all of his highlight was like he catches the ball and then he picks the right angle to like run around and just takes it to the house like over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's like, Kyle Shanahan is going to scheme this guy open, going to get him the ball, and, with a chance to break a big one. And that'll be cool to see.
Did you see the thing about his wingspan?
No. Is it big?
He has an 81-inch wingspan.
Damn, dude.
It's like the biggest. It's like among the top.
6'9" for a 6'0" player.
It's crazy. It's like such a wide wingspan. I think it's among the top like 10 in the NFL. Like, that's how big it is. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. I agree. I was not wild about him as a prospect, and then he went to San Francisco, and I was like, oh, well, he'll be a success there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like...
Did you... keep going.
No, go ahead.
Look up, if you have a chance, everyone should watch the highlights for Jawan Jennings, the receiver they took in the 7th round. He's just this dude out of Tennessee that I went in with like really low expectations of, but he's fascinating. He's just like this, like, he's only 215 pounds, but he makes plays like he's like 240. Like, he just like is this strong dude who just like shakes people off. And so it's like, not only does he do that, the other thing he does repeatedly throughout his highlight reel is throw for touchdowns. So he's a wide receiver who is repeatedly put in positions to make passes for touchdowns, and they're like pretty throws. And I'm just like, man, we'll talk more about QB the Saints picked later, but I think football is about to get really fun, and I think football might actually be headed in the direction we talked about. Where
2 QBs, baby. We've been talking about it.
2 QBs. I think forever. I'm like not even joking. I think we might be kind of headed that way. I think Jawan Jennings is going to be put in positions to throw the ball down the field to Deebo Samuel. Are you watching him? Does he just like shake people off?
Yeah, he's big.
He reminds me
when people try and tackle him, he's just like, please stop tackling me.
Yes. He sort of reminds me of Brandon Marshall, the receiver. Like, I don't think he's quite as fast as him, but he's just sort of like an ant shaking off.
Oh, they lined him up as a wildcat QB too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's cool. I think the Niners offense is only going to be more fun.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's tight. Because George Kittle led the league in yards after the catch, and Marquise Goodwin led the league in yards after a catch for a wide receiver. So it's like, they're clearly a yak machine.
Kyle Shanahan just schemes players to be open in space, and it's just like he just added 2 players who are good when they have space.
Yeah. Seahawks.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say of the Seahawks draft. They always kind of zig when other people zag. So it's like not surprising to me that like their first round pick wasn't a guy a lot of people had that high on their board, but like it's always worked and they haven't had bad seasons in spite of drafting weird. So seems fine.
Everyone should go watch a video from Samuel Gold about Jordan Brooks. Basically, he just goes like, everyone who's mad about Jordan Brooks has only watched 2019 tape. In 2018, he was put in coverage positions over and over again and succeeded wildly at them. And is like he's like very good at man coverage. It turns out he was like put in positions to fail in 2019 because they had a hole at middle linebacker, and so they put him there. But Pete Carroll has already said he'll be playing weak side linebacker in his scheme, and from there he will probably excel. And he's also crazy fast. He ran like a 4.54 at the combine, and he said he had only been training for a week because he had torn his shoulder up like 3 months beforehand. Damn. So it's like a 4.5 when you've trained for a week is like, I think it's likely he would have been in the high 4.9s or 4.4s. I mean,
sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we move on to my favorite draft of this division?
Absolutely.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Come on.
Isaiah Simmons falls to them at 8. Tackle Josh Jones falls to them in the 3rd round, who was a guy like I was talking about, like, oh, maybe the Lions will draft Josh Jones with the 3rd pick in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was there a whole round later is great. Lecky Fotu, just a physical D lineman at Utah. And then, who cares about the later picks? But like Eno Benjamin was a running back, one of those guys where it's like, oh, he's the best player available for like 2 rounds. Why aren't people taking him? So it's like, that's how you want to draft a running back, is like take a guy who falls in the late rounds and maybe you can get something out of him. And, they have Kenyon Drake there. So, they're not like, he'll be able to shoulder as much of the load as he needs. And then Eno Benjamin can slide in whenever he wants. It's just, good value and some good players here. So,
yeah. Evan Weaver was another player who was like at the top of the board for like 3 rounds and didn't get picked. He's the linebacker they took in the 6th. So they got like several of those players. You and I were big on Josh Jones. Yeah. Just a great draft, especially when you consider DeAndre Hopkins their second round pick.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay, yeah. So for this division, I like Arizona and then San Francisco and then Seattle and then LA, I guess.
Yep, same.
Cool.